interesting and practical topic. How do we go from grinding always after the next thing, always doing everything through effort, to flow, to feel the freedom to be present, to feel like you're actually enjoying that what you're doing? I used to be a person that felt so proud of never being available or of always being working, of never having time, of always when people will ask me how's life, I will say busy, and I will feel like that was a prize or that was something that spoke highly about myself. But I was always in burned out. I was so tired, I was exhausted, and to be honest with you, I wasn't doing things because I felt inspired. I was living in automatic and my nervous system paid the price because that constant anxiety had me having an anxious attack and a moment where I truly feel like I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I felt like my hands were sweating, and it was because there was so much happening in my mind that my nervous system just had to collapse. So I want you to understand, and now what I see in myself, and this is the thing that I see in my students, in the mentorship, and in my clients, that every time that they come because they have reached a point in which they feel like there's not a meaning to life. It's just they are constantly asking themselves, is this all that it is to life? Always waking up and doing the same thing, and day after day after day, just repeating this pattern that feels like has no meaning for me. And every time they feel like they are further and further from themselves. Now, I feel a present woman. I truly can say that one of the highest values in my life is deliciousness. And what do I mean by that? The capacity that we have to enjoy life, to be present in a moment, almost like to taste it and to be present with all of our senses. Think of it as a like in a song. When you're dancing a song or when you're singing or playing a song, you're not thinking of the last moment or the last chord that is going to be played in that song. You're thinking in the dancing, you're so in the movement that that is the flow state we want to live in. Almost like when people are surfing. They are not thinking and measuring what is the end of the wave, or they are not thinking the number or the altitude, or they are just in a state of flow that is pleasant, that brings them into coherence and into alignment. That what I think, that what I say, that what I feel, and that what I do are in the same place. So, first, we need to understand that from that grinding space, we are working first from a place of fear. From an space of effort, I always have to work hard to get what I want. And that's something that most of us have learned since childhood. That is, my value is attached to the things that I overcome. And the harder it is, somehow it's more, the more proud you are of yourself. And how best is that we feel pride in being the warrior and going to the battle, when in reality we're exhausted all the time and we know that that's not what we want. So there's a shift in identity that needs to happen. The connection that happens when you're always in overdrive is that your dopamine is always driving you to an spike in cortisol. So you're feeling like you need to do and keep going, but then the cortisol is creating inflammation in your body, it's creating headaches, and to be honest, it's not like you're giving better results. You're probably feeling more and more stuck because you are operating from a beta state, a beta frequency, where you don't have the solutions to the situations in your life. You're stuck in the problem, you're stuck in that frequency, and that keeps you in the survival mode. So even when you don't have a threat or you don't have something bad happening to you, you're always going to feel like you're running away from something. And the way in which we want to shift is that we want to shift from survival to an expansive state. It is not the thing that you need to achieve, but you feeling so in love with life itself that the greatest thing that you can do is almost like your work is an offering to the divine for giving you the opportunity to be awakened here and now. And there's a piece that is constantly missing and can only be found within yourself. When you do that, when you know you are so worthy, because in the other side you were looking for validation and you were looking to get a prize, when you know that you don't need anything, that is the frequency in which you can have everything. Because now you are still going to have the dopamine, but which means that you have the drive, but it is not connected to the cortisol spike, the threat, but it is connected the dopamine with oxytocin and serotonin, meaning you feel that through your actions, that through your work, you are connecting with other people, you're feeling loved, and you're feeling that you want to create that impact in their lives from that theta state, which is the state of expansion, which is the state of solution, which is the state of innovation, and from which you can create better and more wonderful things for everybody. So the way in which we shift from grinding to flow is by entering theta state through exercises of flow state. How do we do that? Through your blueprint, through your routine, which means the way in which you work out, the meditations that you do, the work that you do, we're using all of these tools to have that connection with yourself to come into alignment. So then you're going to go and live life almost in a post orgasmic state. We don't want to live in the peaks. We don't want to live always like we cannot breathe and that we're waiting for something. Even feeling too excited, it's not something that your nervous system has the capacity to hold. The place, the sweet spot where we want to live is the state of surrendering so much because you trust in life. And the way in which you trust in life is when you trust in yourself. You get to know yourself so deeply and so well that you live in this almost like an expectation of how good can this life get. I I every single morning repeat the statement and the mantra, dear God, show me the miracles that you have available for me today. Show me how delicious life can get. And that when we start operating from that space, which is starting by deep meditation, the recommendation that I give you is that you set your alarm an hour before you normally wake up, and then you're going to put your headset, you're going to put the blindfolds, and stay just there breathing with binaural theta waves throughout that hour. That is the point and the place where we're going to go deep into your default mood network and change the rewiring of your identity. You don't have to believe me. This is something that has a neuroscience and a scientific explanation, but what you're going to feel when you enter into the vortex, when you enter the field, is coming back into alignment. It's not that for you to experience greatness, you have to learn more things on what to do and who to be. We need to get rid of all the things that you believe about yourself that were not truth. So when you go back to that frequency of feeling pleasure in your body, connecting with the frequency of certainty, connecting with the frequency of self love. That is a place from where you start living your life. Then, when you go out, we started I also by working out, but the workout is not something that you're doing because you need to fix something in your body. It is something that you do because it sets you in a pleasant state of connecting with every single sense. So everything we do is a meditation. Everything we do is a vehicle for you to experience and deploy your own potential. As you are working out, as you're grabbing the weights, you're breathing in and out, and I ensure you, in the presence that you have in that moment, you're going to find the capacity and the practice to go then and live your life from that state. even in the gym, we're not grinding. The goal is to have, again, that sweet spot, like in yoga, where you're stretching, but you're not breaking. Many of you are breaking in the workspace. Many of you are breaking with your business, thinking that that's the thing that you need to do. But how do you serve the business when you're broken? When you're burned out and you cannot even answer the phone? Every single day, there is concept in marketing that is called the bliss point. And the bliss point is what makes something addictive. So it is the right amount of salty, sweet, sour, and spicy, and crunchy and soft that makes you want to eat and eat and eat more of a snack. And that is what we're going to bring to every single area of your life. You enter the flow state, and from there you keep working your relationships, your work, the gym, the meditation, in a way in which you know that you're being challenged, but you know that you're not hurting yourself. You know you're stretching and expanding, but you know this is not going against you, that you know you're not breaking in the burnout. Even more, when we feel like we're coming to the place of exhaustion, that is the place in which we go and rest. Yes, sometimes the best thing that you can do for your business, for your clients, for your family is to go and take a nap. So that is the shift that we're going to do. And when we reprogram and rewire your identity to live from that place, we start then creating all the challenges, the habits, the decisions, the feelings, and the emotions for you to start living in that future state. You start moving, you embody the person that you know that you can be, and you become a magnet because it is unbelievable. You become a magnet for everything that you desire. It blows my mind how for so long I thought that I needed to grind and I needed to do the things at my own cost, only to realize that I ended up exhausted. And now my only work is to remain in the frequency. My only work is to remain in the certainty and take the steps from that place. I know that I could do 100 things today, but if I'm still in that beta wave, if I'm still working with my cortisol, if I'm still grinding and doing it from the effort, I know that's not going to take me to the right place. When I'm working from theta, I'm already feeling so fulfilled that honestly, there are no results that I need from what I'm doing out there. The shift that I have in day by day, because believe me, I have worked with so many methods and medicines, and you call it whatever it is to shift your mindset. But the reality is, little by little, day by day, you're finding pleasure and fulfillment in everything that you do. So that's the way in which we rewire your identity, hack your nervous system, and get you to live in a frequency in which you become the architect of your own life. I just shared this video for you to know that there's a different way, that there's a way to do things without having to burn out, that there's a way to be even more creative, especially now that we're coming to the era of AI, where the entire identity and value of us as a humanity is shifting. Now we're going back from human doings to human beings, and this is the moment for you to take a step back and find that divine realm within yourself and move from there. There's nothing I wish more for people than to experience how it is to live in a flow state. You're going to feel in love with you, you're going to feel in love with life, and shifting from beta to theta will allow you to have a life of meaning, to believe again in yourself. So do yourself the honor and start with these strategies, waking up just 1 hour earlier tomorrow, setting your playlist on the binaural theta waves, and closing your eyes, rewiring yourself, and you'll see that when you enter the vortex, there's going to be divine synchronicity coming for you as you're moving from that place. You can find me on Instagram as at elizabethramirez.co. And if you want to know more about this process, I have the one-on-one mastery mentorship where I teach you how to enter altered states of mind and explore your subconscious mind, all your capacity as a human, your inner nerd and your inner technology to start experiencing life as you deserve it.